Chapter 1. The rental SUV's heater wheezed against the cold, barely keeping pace with the snow pressing down from a heavy gray sky. Bennett adjusted the collar of his coat, irritation tightening in his chest. He'd flown into Albany that morning, trading the city's glass and steel skyline for a regional airport with a single baggage carousel and vending machines that still ate your quarters. From there, it was 3 hours of back roads and winding hills, the landscape that made you wonder how anyone survived here in winter at all. There were only 40 minutes left. He checked the directions twice, though his hands already knew the roads. Muscle memory guided the wheel over familiar curves, even after 12 years away. The familiarity unsettled him. He'd spent years trying to scrub Hearthglen out of his system, drowning it in deadlines, late nights, and 70-hour workweeks. Yet the sight of the old grain mill by the frozen river tightened something in his throat, memory curling around him like smoke. His phone buzzed on the console. He glanced at the screen, 2 missed calls, one from a junior partner and one from the firm's managing director. He let it ring. He could imagine the emails piling up, questions about the case he'd left behind. They'd expected him to wriggle out of the funeral, send a wire transfer, and be back in the office by Monday morning. That was the version of Bennett most people knew, the one who kept his heart under lock and key, who buried grief beneath briefs and contracts, but they didn't know the truth. His father hadn't died alone in Hearthglen. He died in Bennett's apartment in the city, the old man stubbornly declaring he'd rather spend his last weeks where he could see his son every day than fade away in a town full of pitying eyes, even though they knew him well. He hadn't even realized how ill he was until one morning he hadn't woken up, gone just like that without a sound. A mercy, the doctor had called it. More like a thief, he'd thought. He told himself he would go back for the funeral, that he owed his father that much, but the old man had taken even that decision from him. No casket, no stone, the will had said. Burn me and let my boy keep me close. The ashes had come to him in a simple urn, still resting on a shelf in his study, where he could glance at them whenever the world grew too sharp. So there had been no procession, no graveside speeches, no final gathering under the church's timbered roof. There was only Bennett, alone with the urn, too aware that everyone in Hearthglen would take his absence as proof that he was exactly who they always believed him to be. Yet here he was years later, steering back toward the town he'd sworn never to return to. The wheel was solid in his grip, but the past pressed heavier than the storm clouds rolling in over the ridge. Main Street appeared as he crested the hill, a ribbon of glowing storefronts strung with lights. Hearthglen hadn't changed. The bakery still boasted a candy cane-striped awning. The hardware store's display window bulged with snow shovels and sleds. Children dashed across the street, laughter carrying in the brittle air. He slowed automatically, eyes flicking from face to face. A habit he hadn't realized he still had. For what? For whom? The jolt of recognition he dreaded and craved in equal measure never came, but the expectation dug at him all the same. His grip on the wheel tightened. He'd promised himself years ago, never look back. And yet here he was, scanning the sidewalks like some lovesick fool. The inn stood at the far end of the street, its peaked roof frosted with snow, a string of warm bulbs tracing the porch railings. From a distance, it almost looked proud. Up close, Bennett knew the cracks would show, the peeling paint, the sagging shutters, the numbers in the